Yeah, we'll start our Manana. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanam Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Chaiva Tato Jayamudiraye. Yeah, let's share our takeaways before we go to chapter 2.
Welcome back, Dr. Brahmara.
Yeah, thank you. No, and thank you so much for holding the fort and taking care of all
Ah,
the sharing. You did a
you
wonderful job, by the way. You,
you are
Vijayji,
my
and everyone else.
you are our leader, and I feel very safe with you.
No, I think, yeah, we're all in this together. I think there's no, they're all in the Sangha. That's it. We're only contributing to whatever way we can. That's it. So,
Sorry, I just missed. I
Actually,
was
I
trying to get
wanted
the
to
laptop.
mention one thing.
yeah.
I joined today on YouTube Live.
Mhm.
It's very beautiful from the third party's point of view angle. Like, so can we can do one thing that this live sessions are happening on YouTube. We can post it in all the groups also. Those who don't want to join on Zoom, they can join directly, because I was the only one on YouTube Live, only one person watching. So I think it's such a beautiful things are happening. Let's spread this, that YouTube wala thing.
Yeah, I think maybe Dr. Madhuri ji, all these are uploaded on YouTube anyways. See, in fact, when we started off, honestly, I just wanted to share this. When I had asked Nana to share all the wealth of his knowledge, he said, "You are interested, so I'm just going to tell you." But then I said, "No, let's include there are other people who might be interested." So that is how this group formed. I would, honestly speaking, see, every other group you mean is the Art of Living groups and all, right? They're already into some form of knowledge, which is fine. I think if you allow me to say this, let's keep it to this. Anyway, all these are being shared on the public forum, except for the Manana sessions. Manana is only it is private. So if you want to, you can probably give the link to people who are interested and then give, because I don't want to create any confusion in anybody's mind. There are so many of us in the Art of Living who think that, and they're right also. They say they're just following Gurudev's knowledge and they continue to do so. It's not like we are not following Gurudev. It is just that you're doing this as part of Swadhyaya. So I think maybe we'll just leave it at this rather than, broadcast it to other
Okay,
groups.
okay,
That
okay,
is my
fine.
humble suggestion, because it should not be. I know I completely understand from where you're coming from, the space of wanting to share. You're
Yeah.
deriving a lot from this, and therefore you want to share. But we have been there in this for the last maybe 4 5 months, 4 months or so, from end of March. So we have been on a journey, and therefore we are able to seep it. I'm not sure someone who just joins in for the first time would be able to relate to it the same way. Um, Although if you
Yes.
want to, you can of course share. I have nothing against it. But rather than posting it on all groups, I think let's just keep it to this.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I will abide by
Whoever
Actually, what Dr. Brahmaraji said is very true. There are quite a few people within Art of Living who don't advocate having other knowledge sessions. I have been told once, because I was also having some Swami Chinmayanandaji's knowledge session. We were watching as a group. Somebody sent me a message. So yeah, it's better to keep it limited.
Okay, we will respect it. Yes. Jai Guru.
Yeah.
I had a suggestion. Dr. was saying
Yeah, someone was saying something. Yeah, so I think
just a suggestion which came when he's doing one word of chapter 8,
Timiji, there's a lot of disturbance from your side. You're not clear in what you're saying. I mean, we're not able to hear you. Ah, right, you're traveling.
I'll share it tomorrow.
No problem. Yeah, because we can't hear what you're saying. You can put it in the chat alternately.
Sorry, actually, my net is coming and going. Maybe I'll share it.
Yeah, you can share it or you can write it in the chat. So there was a lot of clarity today regarding Nishkama Karma, regarding what Dr. Renu had asked, whether we should retire, whether we should continue to work, and the aspect of Swadharma and Swakarma. So till as long as our body physically allows us to, there are certain groups, like, see, the government anyway has a retirement age for certain professions, like beyond 60 or 65, you automatically retire. Then you have no other choice. Then you retire. But there are certain professions, like doctors, for instance, where there is no absolute retirement. So as long as your physical body allows you to, you continue to do. But with him, with an attitude of karma yoga. So I had this question of how do we keep him constantly in our mind? In what form? How do we do that? And there were a lot of inputs coming in which are useful. I will just have to put it into practice. It is there as a concept, but putting it into practice is what is essential now. So doing it as an offering, doing it, all that yajna bhav, basically it comes back to the karma yoga. Simiji, I'm going to mute you because we are not able to hear you. Yeah, sorry. So, and also with respect to Dr. Mara's question as to what name should we, because he has so many names, pick and choose one and then stay with that. And more importantly, move from all these upasanas, japa and all these are upasanas. You move on to the to higher realms of contemplation.
Didi, I wanted to add, just say my experience. I had the same dilemma. I loved all the names and all the gods. So what I did was I sat and contemplated on them. which name reverberates with me the most. It took me few days, but yes, then I could come to the conclusion. Yes, I reverberate with Krishna the most. So that was really nice. So maybe this can be tried.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Dr. Brahmaraji,
Yes.
I heard someone once mention somewhat like an answer to your question, how to keep God always, constantly, right? So what that person was mentioning is a mother, no matter what she's doing, the child may be playing somewhere, but the child is always constantly there in her mind. So he was saying, over a period of time, if we are able to cultivate that kind of a thing for God, then no matter what you're doing, in the back of your mind, that is there. Like a child is always there in the mind of a mother, no matter what she's doing. Same way, God should be there. It will happen. I think it's not something very easily to.
Yeah. I think it is abhyasa. It requires a lot of abhyasa. No? And when you look at it, I'm not sure whether it translates to being in the moment. The more you are in the moment, because there is only joy, happiness in the moment. So if you are in the moment throughout, then you are with that, with the attribute of Brahman, which is nothing but joy. So that could also translate to having him in your mind throughout. And that's only a another angle to having him in your mind throughout, is to be in the moment, no matter what.
Yeah, living with awareness and consciousness.
Living with awareness, yeah, living in the moment.
Yeah, after all, he's a tattva, not a person or
Correct.
a name.
Correct.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. Because these forms and names are given by us only, right? But the ultimate truth about the ultimate is he's nothing. You can say this is how I now these days try to fool with my mind. Like if something is not very pleasant, then I say this is nothing, this is all Maya. But if it is very pleasant, then I say everything is him. He's in everything. So that expansion is there. But when there is unpleasant thing, I said nothingness. So the forms and in practicality, these days, if I have to call or pray something, it's Guruji comes in my mind. Like if I have to ask for some help, it's in the form who is there in the reality for me, it's Guruji. If I am in pain, I would just call Guruji's name. I mean, it comes naturally. It doesn't, I don't even have to think whose name I have to take. It just comes naturally. But when I mean, if I have to just sit and contemplate, this nothingness and everythingness comes. Jai Gurudev. These days, this Jai Gurudev we have to use as like walkie-talkie. Over to you, like, unless you say Jai Gurudev.
It is the beginning and the end of any sentence. So I've been having this this question, and in fact I wanted to ask, but there was no time. Is that everything is Brahman? So even the positive and the negative is Brahman, because you cannot exclude the negative. Similarly, you cannot exclude dharma and adharma from Brahman. Although at one point he says dharma, which is law, the law of nature, the law of creation, is nothing but Brahman. But that does not exclude adharma also, isn't it? So somewhere, maybe at a point, now for all of us living life as grihastas, we will have to keep this distinction of adharma and dharma, so that you can follow and live a dharmic life. But maybe there reaches a point where this distinction between dharma and adharma actually doesn't really matter. I had this doubt because all the pairs of opposites and just they complement each other. It is not like you exclude one to the other, one is preferred to the other. Similarly, um, the pairs of opposites, I mean, the positives in our life, negatives in our life, all those modifications, modulations of love, which distortions of love, if you may say, all those arishad vargas, they are also part of the the Brahman. So I had this question as to um, if they're all the same and they're all belong to Brahman, then uh, I'm not able to actually express my question. Is that what is the role? What is the role of having this distinction? What is the role of distinguishing, dharma and adharma? Although I've kind of answered my own question, but this thought came. I'm not able to actually put it into express it out completely. Both are there, so why are we excluding one and saying, you need to hold on only to dharma?
Yeah,
So
this
this
happens to me also. Like even like when you're reading the Sahasranamam or whatnot, like you're in your back of your head, some other thoughts coming, and somebody talking to you. Sometimes you get negative thoughts, and sometimes, okay, oh, you shouldn't be thinking like this. You should turn that into positive thought and whatnot. So I was wondering about that myself. Like, yeah, it's not like completely you're, even though you want to think, be positive, sometimes those thoughts comes to your mind also. So what do we do? Like, so to me, I felt you totally, when you surrender yourself to the God, so everything goes with it, whatever that positive, negative thoughts, and then how Anna was saying, like you contemplate, to take you in the right path, hopefully, that kind of helps us to go on to right path. I'm not touching upon the dharma and adharma part because hopefully we are not doing any harm to anybody. So in my mind, at least, we are not thinking that kind of thing. But in the, I mean, that is my take on that. I mean, I know that's good question, to ask. And I felt that surrendering or offering your everything to God, that something, would help us to go through this issue.
So, Gurudev, how I look at it, like upward and downward movement, how Gurudev explains in the chakras, the energy same flips to positive and negative at the same place, downward flow and upward flow. Natural tendency for the water to flow from up to down, but to sustain it at certain level and take it up, you need a lot of uh, input energy to build it up and take it up. So going downwards is like we have seen the characters of Ravana and Duryodhana and all, troubling everyone around and getting caught up into Shadripus. And so if our ideals are in that way, so you yourself also suffer and you make suffer others also. So what kind of karmas you will be accumulating for yourself when you are following adharma? So once you reach that, you transcend all that dharma, adharma or pair of opposites totally, like an enlightened soul, then it really doesn't matter. Nothing matters because you have already भवसागर पार हो गए ना, तो फिर कुछ भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. Then you have seen so many great souls having chilim and all kinds of we have seen great people around us. Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, thank you. So if there's anything else anybody wants to share from the session we completed, please do. If not, we'll go on to chapter 2. Bela, are you there?
Yes, dear.
Are
Jai
you,
Gurudev.
yeah, Jai Gurudev. Will you be able to read, Bela? Where did you stop yesterday? Was it, we were on,
Yeah, a vice person's response to Sukha is over.
is over? Okay.
Yeah, please. Still up.
Absence of fear.
Yeah, here. The
You
absence
need
of
to
fear.
stop, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You can go ahead, Bela. Is this font sufficient or should I enlarge it a little bit?
Just 2 minutes.
Yeah, you can read from the, I think you have the book, no? You have the PDF copy.
Yeah, but I have, as I told you, my left eye.
No, I
will
know.
just
No,
say-
see, if
yeah.
I don't want to give you any trouble in case you're
No,
able
I
to.
can read. These fonts
Otherwise,
are
I will
fine.
read.
This font.
Yeah. But let me know in case you need a break. We'll go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Dhanyavad. The absence of fear. Once raga is gone, fear also goes. Fear exists only when desire is there, and desire is there only when raga dvesha is there. Kama indicates duality. It is due to the notion, I am this much alone. Everything else is other than me, and I have to get it. Thus, there is duality, meaning that there is a difference between Jiva, the individual, and Ishvara, the Lord. Jiveshwara Bheda. Naturally, then there will be fear because a difference between the individual and the Lord implies duality between the individual and the world. And duality between the individual and the world means duality between individual and individual. Once you accept the duality between the individual and Ishvara, you will find difference, Bheda, everywhere. Could you please move? If you think that you are different from Ishvara, you will think that you are different from the world and from everyone else in the world. And in this world of duality, you are an insecure person. Therefore, the fear of danger from another source will always be there because the other will always be there. Fear comes from duality only. Any fear means that duality is there because you recognize the source of fear as something other than yourself. You can even be afraid of yourself if you have created a split in yourself. There is an ideal I and an actual I, and the actual I is always frightening to the ideal I. This is also the reason why you are afraid of an insane person, provided you are sane, of course. Similarly, you may find that you are afraid of a person who is sad. There can be no fear if there is only one thing, vastu. A second thing is necessary for fear to occur. Therefore, the one who has no duality is not only free from raga dvesha, but is also free from fear. anger also goes. Lastly, a wise person is free from anger, which is nothing but another form of raga. The desire itself is transformed into anger. First, the desire is in a very benign form, and then it is transformed into another form, an ugly form called anger. We will be seeing this later in the chapter Kamat Krodhat Abhijayate. Kamat Krodhat Abhijayate. When what I want is not accomplished due to some obstruction, that very kama turns into anger, whose target is the obstruction. Whatever is obstructing my desire becomes the object of my anger. Many murders take place because the object of a person's love becomes the object of his or her anger. A man does not kill the loving woman. He kills only the obstinate, unwilling woman. And then he will cry for the loving one. Thus, when a person becomes an obstruction to your desire, that same person becomes the object of your anger. Anger is always a mutilated, transformed, deflected form of karma. Therefore, if you are free of kama, desire, you will be free of krodha, anger. Duality and fear. The word bhaya, fear, was put between the words raga and krodha because of its special significance, which is dealt with very well in the Shastra. The only way to be free of fear is by swallowing duality, and you cannot swallow duality unless there is no duality. And because there is no duality, it can be swallowed, but only through knowledge. This is the only way of getting rid of fear. Wherever there is duality, there is fear. Fear of mortality, fear of being put down, fear of being small, fear of not making it, and so on. Fear can exist only as long as there is a seeker-sought relationship, the very relationship implying duality between the seeker and the sought. And in the final analysis, duality between oneself and the Lord.
Yeah, I think this is very profound. You know, fear comes only when there is the other. And we experience this, no? For a child, when a child is asked to perform as against an adult asked to perform on the stage, the child goes up very naturally and starts singing or doing whatever. Because for him, everybody is the same. There is no other. Whereas for an adult with a developed ego, there is this sense of judgment of what they will think, what they will, what if I make a fool of myself? So therefore, that element of stage fear develops. So the more and more we connect with others and we feel belong to them, that sarvatma bhava comes in, then automatically this bhaya will go off, will disappear. And ultimately, that final analysis, duality between oneself and the Lord. So even that has to go. That Dvaita Bhavana, even there, when you merge and you experience Advaita, then even that little bit of fear that is there between you and the Lord will disappear. But as karma yogis, I think there is that element of little bit of duality, because everything you're offering to Lord. So there is, you accept the Lord as the higher power. So there is that element of duality there. but you're doing it in a very prayerful attitude. So um, the fear aspect doesn't really show up there as much as it does with respect to others. But this is very nice to relate to and look at our own origin of fear. So the fear comes when there is the other. When the other is not there, there is no fear.
Yeah, it's so beautifully explained. When you consider, like, there is a small example that during the some clash, plane was crashed. I mean, it was very in the air, it was very topsy-turvy, and all the passengers were so scared except a little girl. She was so one person asked, why you are, so she said that the pilot is my dad, so I know. So I mean, that confidence we should have, that it is taken care of.
So beautiful example, my God. Think about it.
Yeah. I think if we can do our karma yoga with this aspect, with this attitude, that whatever best has to happen is happening and will happen, then not only what you do will be in tune, whatever you get also as a result will also be totally accepted. There is no craving there. There is no upset because what you expected did not show up. So you will be in sync with that, with the principles of karma yoga.
Yeah, and yesterday's Sthita Prajna word, it's so powerful. It is so powerful. Very, very beautiful. Yesterday's chapter 2 also. That even in happiness and even in sadness, I mean, if you are able to maintain that aspect, nothing can shake you. I mean, it's so beautiful. But here we are discussing the causes of anger. When we consider the anything other, it may be living, non-living, whatever situation, whatever it is, when we consider it apart from our own self, then there is everything comes up. Raga, dvesha, and anger. Anger is the main cause.
So everything comes in as an offshoot of karma, of raga and dvesha. And when your desire is obstructed, then your anger springs up, and the object of your obstruction becomes the object of your anger.
Yes, I think in one of the chapters, this is I forgot the shloka, Brahmaraji. Krodhat mati vibram. Krodhat.
It's in
I
the
mean, it
same
is.
second chapter only. It is.
Yeah. Kaman krodhat abhijayate. Krodhat
It starts
mati.
from Kamat.
Sammoha smruti vibrama smruti bhramshad buddhinasho.
Buddhinashat pranashyati. Very right. You've got the whole shloka there. So it is
No, I was.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha kamat krodod vijayate krodad bhavati sammohaha sammohat smriti vibhramaha smriti bhramshad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. So the beginning is dhyayato vishayan pumsaha. So it starts off as an attachment to the object of whatever you're thinking. See, supposing there are so many, so I'll give a very mundane example. There's so many saris lying in the shop, right? But as long as your thought is not on that sari, you do not have even a desire. But when your neighbor or your friend or someone else wears that sari, then you constantly are thinking about it. That thing, the impression of that sari is there. And then that attachment you develop to the sari. And then dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayati. That attachment is what leads to kama. Then that kama comes in, that desire crops up. Say, I want to also get. Because you see the sari as apart from you, there is the other. So you want to gain it, you want to, possess it. So then what is that? Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha. From that attachment comes the kama. But if we were at that level of attachment, before that attachment happens, you just look at the sari as a sari and then, marvel at its beauty, leave it. When you drop it and you don't develop the attachment, then you are not even getting caught up with the raga and that kama doesn't come. But supposing the kama does come, then kama krodho bijayate. For some reason, your husband or you're not able to buy the sari. Your husband says, no, you have enough. You don't need to buy anymore. So kamat krodho bijayate. Krodhat bhavati samoha. And then the downfall starts. Then your husband becomes the object of anger. You get deluded. Krodhat bhavati samoha. Samohat smriti vibhramaha. Smritit bhramshat buddhinasho. Buddhinashat pranashyati. So then the downward spiral starts. So it is at the level of the attachment is where we have to be watchful. That is where the raga starts. That is where we have to work on. It could be raga, it could be dvesha, it could be either way. When they both come together. So either it could be something that you do not want to have or something that you really want to have. So that want and do not want is where we have to work on.
Jai Gurudev. Premji, there is a hint over here. Please
No,
don't say.
that's why, no. I said very in the beginning that it's a very mundane question. In fact, on the lighter vein, when I went to India, I did a lot of shopping and I was, this raga was there in the back of my mind when I was shopping. But I shopped because I needed to. And it was Prem's credit card that I was using. And he was being very generous. I should give him all the credit. So he's certainly not the object of my anger because he was no obstruction. So this is on the lighter vein. I just gave a very mundane example, but we can translate this into so many other situations and yeah.
Brahmaraji, you have brother also?
All the no, I don't have a brother. Physically, no. We're just 3 sisters.
Brahmara, all our first cousins are our brothers.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Actually speaking, no. Biologically, no. But then everybody out there is a brother. Yes.
So one of the
Correct.
sisters your parents are staying?
Yeah, both my sisters are in the US. Sriyaka is there in our group. She's logged in. And Seema is where the younger sister, that's where my parents are staying with.
Okay. Okay.
For everyone in the group, I think this Sunday, Nana ji is coming to California from Phoenix. So he'll be here with us till the end of October.
Yeah, I know you're
Wow.
very privileged and blessed.
Brahmara, I actually feel very sad for you. If you were here and he would have been able to see you also, but you're so far away from all of us. But don't worry, the time will come, he'll come and spend time with your family too.
Yeah, physically we are separate, but then we are connected in so many ways, no? So that's fine.
That's true.
So shall we continue for a few more minutes? Bella, you want to read or shall I?
Yeah.
Continue?
I can read.
Yeah.
Any small division whatsoever is enough to cause fear. Even to say Ishvara is everything and I am a part of him is enough. In fact, upon analysis, you will find that this concept is the very point from which everything becomes different. This difference is born out of a natural lack of inquiry, avikara, or non-thinking. And if after inquiry, duality is still there, it's a tragedy. Because the Upanishads expect this kind of thinking or non-thinking, they address the topic thoroughly, pointing out that as long as there is any division whatsoever, fear cannot be avoided. A Muni is a thinking person, a person of inquiry and the knowledge. The of the Muni stays sthita. That is, it does not swing and sway. The Muni does not think duality, Dvaita, one day and non-duality, Advaita, the next day, just because someone has put forth a cogent argument. In fact, Dvaita is not knowledge, it's a belief. Regardless of the number of objections raised, Advaita is something you know. You may not be able to communicate it to someone else, but you know because it is yourself. It is not something you have to believe. It is a freedom from all notions. Advaita is all that is there. We have seen that the person whose knowledge stays is called a sthita prajna, a wise person. Sannyasi is also a word to point out. Jnana nishtha, one whose knowledge is firm and abiding. This word was brought in by Shankara here because he did not think that one could be a jnani without being a sannyasi. As we proceed, we shall see that Shankara's sannyasa is always jnana, nothing less. That's so beautiful.
Can you read this last paragraph once again?
Yeah. We have seen that the person whose knowledge stays is called a sthita prajna, a wise person. Sannyasi is also a word to point out jnana nishtha. Jnana nishtha, one whose knowledge is firm and abiding. This word was brought in by Shankara here because he did not think that one could be jnani without being a sannyasi. As we proceed, we shall see that Shankara's sannyasa is always jnana, nothing less.
Yeah. Even the previous paragraph, Dvaita is only a belief. Advaita is something you know. I mean, this is also very profound. It is your experience. Advaita is your experience and it is your knowledge. It is something you know. If I think in the beginning, in the Gita, introduction to Gita, Swamiji had mentioned this several times, that when he talked of you are the problem, you are the solution. So Advaita is there, is the truth. Dvaita is a belief. So even contemplating upon this itself seems to be, it is a beautiful statement to contemplate upon. Yeah, I think we'll stop here today. Anybody wants to share anything before we stop, before we conclude?
Yeah, this affirmation is so nice that being in knowledge is, that is the only thing. You don't need to become real sannyasi. You can remain sannyasi, dispassionate, even being in the worldly things. And observing the non-duality everywhere, surrendering your doership, that he is the karta, he is the harta.
And another thing for me was the swinging. The jnana nishta is not someone who swings in his knowledge. He remains steadfast. And let me just show that one part once again.
That was really
The Muni.
very much, yes.
Yeah, a Muni is a thinking person, a person of inquiry, and the knowledge, dhi, of the Muni stays sthita. That is, it does not swing and sway. The Muni does not think duality one day and non-duality the next. This is also something very beautiful. I can see myself in my own mind. I can see that there is this swing happening. So a person who is a Muni, which only means that we need to go more and more into vichara, go more and more into contemplating what all we have read, what all we have kept as a concept. The more we do vichara of, more contemplation we do. I'm talking for myself. So I think that swing then will slowly stop. And then you become more and more close to sthita prajna, where your knowledge stays sthita. It does not swing.
Jai Gurudev, does that mean the demigods and all the other 14 lokas are also part of Maya?
They are, no?
Yes, yes.
Of course, they are part of Maya.
Everything is
Because
vibrations, everything is frequency.
there is only one thing. Everything else is as though.
And today Nanaji said, no, that is the power of God also.
Correct. Durga is the power of God.
Yes. So
But again, she is also part of Maya, right?
He is also part of Maya, yes.
Yeah.
Prakriti itself, see, Purusha and Prakriti is the power of
It has come from
Brahman.
it has come from the three gunas. Yeah, but it's so funny. I felt many a times we ask questions. These questions pop up in our mind, and many a times the same questions we have answered to other person in this Manana group. I have seen that. And somebody asked this question, the answer you have given the answer, but the same question might pop up in your mind.
Because we swing from non-duality, no? So when we are in non-duality, the answer comes. And when we are in dual, sometimes we don't remember. In non-duality, it comes spontaneously, no? The answer comes spontaneously.
Yeah, nice. So let's conclude here today. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om, Dhanyavad.
Bye.